What's good, everybody? Salty here. Everyone's asking for that nuclear revenge, man. Y'all got any more of that nuclear revenge? Alright, here we go. Guys messed with me for 7 years, so I get some slight revenge. This is the one time I felt proud of myself in life. Let me set the stage. The revenge happened about 5 years ago. I came from a well-off family. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor. Well, when I was 8, my dad died in a car accident from a truck driver who ran a red light. My mom ended up having to work as a part-time escort just for a little extra cash to keep me and my sister alive. Me and my little sister ended up moving schools because she got expelled for attacking a kid. She had autism and sometimes she gets mad to the point of violence. At the new school, I immediately started getting bullied for being a trap. I was tormented by this one group of kids constantly for 7 years. They mocked my sister for being autistic and said that I'm probably going to follow in my mom's footsteps of sucking dick for money. Every day it was a non-stop torment. In my senior year of high school, I had had enough. I enacted my revenge during the last month of school. The months prior to this, I had been studying up on their schedules, where they go after school, when they leave, when they arrive, where they live, etc. It was very stalkery, but I don't know, fam. Then, after countless stalking and planning, I was ready. First off, some minuscule things. I poked simple holes all around their water bottles so when they opened them it leaked everywhere. I unscrewed their desk legs to make their desk break even from slight pressure. I did everything I could to agitate them. Then I went on to bigger things. I'd spray coyote urine on their stuff and then filled them with animal shit. I wrecked their stuff beyond comprehension. They did worse to me throughout my life and they deserved it. Now here's where it gets really, well, illegal. They all play baseball together, so I decided to hit them there. They went to baseball practice and I followed behind them. They left the locker room and I went in there and did some practice of my own. I brought a machete and went to town. Their bags were ripped to shreds. 3 of the 7 had wood baseball bats, so I destroyed those. I also set up a trap for them. When they opened their bags, an M80 would ignite. I put a metric ton of river clay in their car transmissions and set up beds of nails in front of their tires. I wanted them to suffer. Here's where it's really illegal. I went to the main bully's house. He is an asshole. He purposefully dislocated my shoulder for no reason once. He's the one that said the thing about following my mom's footsteps. He's pissed on me, he's assaulted me, he broke me, and I was gonna get revenge. I waited for him to leave home and broke in. I crawled into his window and started having some fun. I disassembled his bed and computer. I moved a bunch of stuff in their house around. I turned on all the lights, all the burners, the showers, sinks, everything. I busted massive holes in their walls. I made a Craigslist ad advertising free anal for a petite gay guy and put his address and phone number. I opened a bunch of gay porn and viruses onto his computer. I changed all their passwords, even their internet password. To top it all off, I followed a lesson from my idol, the PB. I went up to his room, took some laxatives, and coated his room in shit and piss. I wiped myself up, crawled back out, and left. I left no trace of it being me in there, but I'm guessing he knew. I overheard that the utility bill was extremely high and that he couldn't sleep in his room. He started failing at a high rate. Turns out he figured out it was me, attacked me, and got expelled. I don't know if I was in the right to do all of what I did, but I was proud, and still am. That's insane. Who takes laxatives and shits and pisses all over someone's room? I guess if you're super mad at them, you might consider it. I don't know if I've ever considered that before. But who knows, you piss me off, you make me mad enough, I'm gonna take some laxatives and shit all over your shit. That one was definitely entertaining. My class got a teacher fired. This one's from Pro Revenge, but it's still good. So when I was younger, I went to a school that you had to pay to go to. It was a good school, but we had a really annoying French teacher. If you asked a question or got a word wrong, she would shout at you for not knowing it. She also had a telescopic pointing stick. One day she really screamed at this one kid, we'll call him Timmy. The teacher screamed so loud that the other people could hear her on the other side of the building. Now it was time for revenge. My class made up a story of how the teacher hit Timmy on the head with a pointer. We told the headmistress about the story that we made up, and the very same day Timmy ran straight into a tree by accident. This would prove useful later. A few days passed until we had French again. We had a supply teacher in that day. So the head of the school walked in and we all looked terrified. She asked to see Timmy outside. We hear him saying how the French teacher had hit him, showing her the bruise. The next week, the French teacher comes in and said that she wouldn't be working here anymore. We knew that we got her fired. We never heard from her again. I guess if she's really annoying, you might as well just get her fired, right? You don't like them, just get them fired. Sounds like some I don't work here lady stories. Destroy my mailbox? How about I end your football career? So I lived in a small suburb in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas most of my young life in the 80s and 90s. In this town, high school football was like a local religion, and the booster club was like the mafia, even going as far as buying off the cops to let their precious football star kids run amok across town, usually pinning the blame for their shenanigans on bad kids like myself. I wasn't popular. In fact, I was quite the opposite because in a small town in the 90s, a nerdy grungy metalhead with no interest in sports such as myself stuck out like a sore thumb. My home and property was often the subject of vandalism, much to me and my dad's annoyance. The most annoying thing was having to buy a new mailbox like every few days because it would be smashed into bits. One day, me and a couple pals were poking around a scrapyard when I found a metal pole with a flat piece of metal across the top. Ideas started churning in my head. I dragged it home along with some other metal scraps and welded together a 100+ pound invincible steel mailbox and cemented it into the ground where our flimsy stainless steel one used to be. My dad high-fived me for my ingenuity and the welding skills I learned in shop class. Over a week went by and no mailbox incidents happened, but at school there was a huge buzz because one of the star football players seriously fucked up his shoulder. He had a football scholarship waiting for him when he graduated, but that was ended and his injury left him unable to play ever again. I never put two and two together until my dad got a summons to court for the malicious injury of Jockey McNuts. It turns out this jackass was the one destroying my mailboxes. He would have his friends drive him past my house in his car at high speed while he smacked it with a baseball bat while he leaned from the passenger side window. When I installed the solid steel mailbox, he tried the same shit and, well, bye-bye shoulder, and bye-bye football career. The lawsuit against me and my dad never got off the ground, the parents dropping it when my dad's lawyer successfully wrangled a change of venue due to the threatening answering machine messages from the local booster club. I felt a little bad at first, as I never intended to destroy this guy's dreams for our future, but now that I look back on it, he brought it all on himself for being an entitled scum. Yeah man, if he's busting your mailbox, just make it indestructible and bust his freaking arm. When someone's not gonna stop, that's the best way to handle the situation. You let them bust their own shit. Don't mess with a dude in a suit. So this happened years ago when I was in high school. I had to wear a suit to school one day. I forget why, but that's not important. I was at lunch and this kid, we'll call him Bruce, walked up behind me and put his hand on my shoulder and told me I had a nice suit. I knew he had wiped something on me because he is a known douche and liked to try and prank people. As he walked away, I turned to a friend of mine and asked if I had something on my shoulder, to which he said Bruce wiped Cheetos on me. I walked over to his crowd of friends and said, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but I'm gonna get you back and I guarantee it will be 100 times worse. To set some context, my friends know from prank wars that I am not to be trifled with. I'm also the kind of guy who's cool with almost everybody, so I have a vast and varying array of friends, especially at school. It didn't matter the clique, I knew someone in it. I ended up with people tracking him in every class he was in, as I spent the next 2 weeks trying to figure out how I could exact my revenge. Finally the day comes that a friend tells me at lunch Bruce has left his backpack unattended. The light bulb goes off in my head and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. We walked by the backpack and a friend picked it up and then handed it off to me. I took it to the cafeteria bathroom, then I put it in the toilet, opened it up and dropped a mighty deuce inside. I wiped up and stuffed the papers in the side pockets. I took the backpack out and left it next to the toilet. I walked out like a champ. Here's where the story gets really good. I figured I would hear about it the next day or so. About a week later, one of the people I had tracking Bruce came up to me on lunch with the biggest smile I've ever seen anyone have and proceeded to try not to laugh hysterically as he told me his story. The dean called Bruce out of class into the hallway. My friend sat close to the cracked door and he heard the dean say, "In all my years of teaching and administration, I have never seen anything like this, but someone has defecated in your backpack." Come to find out, a janitor had found the backpack and brought it to the lost and found, where it sat for a few days until the smell became horrendous. Finally, they had gone through the lost and found and discovered the devastation, and some poor soul had to find a not feces covered paper to find out whose backpack it was. Bruce never wore a backpack again, and as a result, he never had the books he needed for class. He failed high school, and last year I hear he got hooked on heroin. I ruined his life for wiping Cheetos on my shoulder, and to be honest, I'm proud of it. Dude just drops a deuce in the guy's backpack, man. That's some revenge right there. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Nuclear Revenge. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks again for watching. Peace.